what all the materials are required to go for the processing activity. So that is material requirement planning. Okay, so the material requirement planning, after that we have planned and scheduled, everything is over. Now we'll talk about the material requirement outputs and benefit. What are the benefits and what are their outputs? And the first output which I had discussed in the previous class also, and this actually we have not started the planning, the production, and this particular material requirement planning you will be giving you or giving the authority to place the order that what has been planned by the MRP. So that means to say, and they can place the order, how many materials are required and how many vendors you have to call for and all this, because there are many sub assemblies and sub parts, and all these will be added to the main parts later on within the organization or outside the organization. So it is a main important resource for planning the materials, and then it can be giving you the expected the period of release, when the plan can be executed and how many days it is required. Okay, and another one, it will be giving you the indicating the change in the due dates for the open orders. So in the previous class also I had discussed too much on this, and when the vendors are calling for, when the customers are calling for the discussion, and suppose you say there are 5 different manufacturers, they are going for the meeting, and there will be a negotiation. So what I give is, I'll be giving 1 rupees, others will be giving 1.5 rupees, others will be giving 1.25 rupees, and unfortunately or unfortunately I'll get the order because I have quoted lesser. Then after MRP, I'll come to know that once the production is executed, then we'll come to know that there is a loss. There may be due to the more the cycling time, it may be more involvement of the machineries, or it may be the surplus amount we are going to place on the raw material. All this, okay, it leads to the loss to the company. So this particular the material requirement plan, what you have taken, it will be a milestone for deciding the rates and all, and any changes are there. For example, within the available the order, a small change is required. I need not to do once again the whole thing. It is not required. So whatever the possible changes are required, those changes can be done within this only, and we can go for. And the cancellation notice, okay, the cancellation notice, it is a certain open orders will be there. For example, I told no, and for example, before I start the manufacturing, and if there are any substantial or the insufficient informations are there, with those we cannot able to start the production, and I can even cancel the order also. And it will be giving you the report on the inventory status. The inventory is one important thing, which the raw material, how much you have to invest over the raw materials within the plant, so that we have to minimize the MLT, manufacturing lead time, and that can be obtained in this. And we can able to find out the performance of various the types of tools, and indicating the cost and usage and all this, it is possible. And another one thing also I have discussed the scrap rate also. And with a proper design and with the proper implementation of this, and the material requirement plan can be done, and with the available resources, whether it is possible to go for or execute this planning or not. The suitable example I had given in the previous class, I wanted to go for a turning of mild steel of diameter 30 mm and length 100 mm. For example, in our inventory, in our stores, 110 mm length the rods are available, and among them 103 and 104 mm length the rods are available. And in order to decrease the material cost, because the once I took the excess material, what happens? The machining hour also will be reduced. That means the cycle time of the machine will be increased, and the cost of the material also increased. Indirectly, it will be lost to the organization. So to avoid that, the inventory planning, once you execute it, and what all the available resources are there, the raw material is there, that can be planned, and we can reduce the scrap rate also, and we can forecast on the next coming projects. So okay, and suppose the same order I'm going to receive after 1 year, and I can forecast, and what would be the expected rate, what are the variables and what are the constants. Definitely after 1 year there will be variation in the rate, those also can be predicted. Okay, now the plant capacity planning, just we go through it. I kindly request you to remember the topics. See, in the test also, one of your friend, one or few of your friends, they have written the different type of automation: fixed automation and flexible automation and the computer like automation. For fixed automation, something floating automation, something they have written. Okay, the heading is wrong, the entire thing will become wrong. Try to remember. Okay, in capacity planning, the aggregate production planning, master production schedule, master requirement planning. These are important things. These will be decided based on the capacity planning. The capacity planning, in the sense, already I have got the master production schedule. The master production schedule and aggregate production planning. And the aggregate production planning, you know that it is for the long term. Master production schedule is for this particular product only. It is only for the week or a month. And material requirement planning will be done based on this. Okay, and these two will be decided based on the. This will be deciding the important factor of the organization, that is called as capacity planning. The capacity planning, in the sense, with these available resources, with these available informations of the material requirement, the manpower requirement, and the machineries which are involved in this production, and all these, by taking them, we can able to decide what would be the expected output of the organization, or what would be the expected output I can able to give. That is the capacity of the plant. And to the aggregate production planning, that will be decided based on resource requirement plans. See, the aggregate production plan, it is, I told you, it is for the long term. For the long term means whether we require to go for we may receive more than 3 to 4 or even more than the 4 or 5 different or varieties of productions I may receive from the customers. So for all of them, we have to take into account. For example, in our class, 6 semester requirement. Okay, the 6 semester requirement is the master production schedule. And if I have to decide about the whole department, I have to take the accountability of 2nd semester, 4th semester, 6th semester, and 8th semester. Whether it is required for the 6th semester or not, all other additional things will be taken by scaling up my activities for the long term. Okay, so this is the resource requirement planning will be deciding the aggregate production requirement. And rough cut capacity planning is one which will be helping for the master production schedule. The rough cut capacity planning, in the sense, for this particular type of production, what are the resources which are available, we are going to narrowing our requirements. So that is the rough cut capacity planning. And capacity requirement planning, it is CRP, it is indirectly which will be dealing with the material requirement. Okay, so the material requirement, and indirectly how many production the product I can able to take. Indirectly I can able to say what would be the capacity of the plant. Okay, the output of the plant will be decided based on the capacity requirement of the plant. So capacity requirement, the 3 important things, and just to try to go through this block diagram, and it is self-explanatory, you can able to explain it. Okay, and computer aided quality control, this I was supposed to do it. Okay, so the previous classes on this chapter, once again if it is required, we'll look into overviews. Okay, computer aided quality control. The quality control is one of the important factor deciding the fate of the organization, because the rejections and the inventory and all these will be totally dependent on the quality control. The controlling the quality in the sense controlling all the activities which are directly, indirectly connected with the production at the floor level. So there are three typical the things. Okay, the floor shop control are there. One is the order release, order scheduling, order progress. So once I I get the order, so the planning engineer, they are going through it thoroughly and they are going to release the order to the. I am talking about only the shop floor control. In the shop floor, the order will be given to the shop floor first. Once the shop floor receives this order, they are going to schedule this. That means which all machineries are involved and how many skilled workers are required, where all these workers have to work, all these they are going to schedule them. Once after that, it will be progressed. So this is what it should be in the same order: the order release, order scheduling, and order progress. And you can look into this block diagram, the master production schedule. I am not talking about the other one, aggregate production schedule. Okay, I'm not talking about the aggregate production schedule. I'm talking about the master production schedule, because it is confined to a particular product only. It is for limitations of 1 week or 1 month based on what orders we have received. Okay, so based on this production master schedule which is given by the planning engineer by extracting from aggregate planning, and this it will be sent to the material requirement planning. And once the material requirement planning is done and that will be executed, that means from the database we are going to get the information about manufacturing allowances and what is the time cycle and all this information. That is called engineering and manufacturing database. By having the enough data about the engineering and manufacturing database and the material requirement plan, and we can go for the priority control. The priority control is one already, for example, the production is executing. Already one production is going on. Whether parallel I have to execute this production, or for some time I have to stop the earlier production, or I have to stop this production. That may be due to various reasons within the organization. That may be interrupted maintenance or the unexpected organization, some of the problems, the software problems we are going to update, or we are going to reschedule, or we are going to manipulate the position of the machineries for this particular requirement. All these may be, so we are going to have the priority control. The priority control in this priority control, what we did, we are going to order the schedule. The ordering the schedule means, already I told a very simple example. The priority control is one. I have a MS plate of 10 mm. In this I have to do a tapping. So the tapping, what should be priority control have to go? So before we take it to the tapping, I have to go for a marking and a pilot hole and finishing the hole size, then go for the threading. These are the three important initial the processing we have to do on the material before we go for the tapping. So the priority control will be showing you what should be done first and what will be done next, and who all have to be involved in this. So that will be deciding the priority control, and then the order will be scheduled. Okay, and other way the order will be received. This is the paperwork. This is the paperwork. And what about the material work? And the material requirement plan has been done, and from the database we are extracting the informations and order will be released. So this is about the material, and this is about the processing. And once after that, the whole factory will be involved in this, and you can see that the shop packet and dispatch list. So all these will be leads to factory the data information you have to collect. So still we have not started the production. So with this, what we are going to do is we are going to schedule the production, and the raw material will be entering, and the work will be processed on each workstations, and the finished product will be taken. And once the finished product is taken, and in the realistic way, I told you already, whatever the capacity we have decided in the beginning, that may be slightly different from the physical, because the theoretical explanation or theoretical expected capacity of the plant and the practical capacity of the plant can be understood, and that will be taken as a feedback once we have executed it. And only in the beginning of 15 or 20 minutes, whatever the production we take, and that data will be taken, and if there are any changes to be done, and that will be done in the priority control. Okay, in the priority control, that those sequences or orders will be changed. Then after that, the progress order will be taken, and the progress order will be executed. Okay, and it will be 2 and 4th. It will be a closed loop. Once after that, the management will be getting the report about it. Okay, and what is this order release? Order release is a route sheet, and which will be containing the process plan of the item to be produced. And the process plan, what all the processes are involved, that plan will be there, and this it is that order release. And based on this, we are going to look into the drawing or the data of the materials, and we are going to place the order for the raw material required from the inventory. Okay, and based on this, and another one I told you already just now, the before we go for the tapping, the 3 important things will be done. So like that, so once it has taken to the industry, the floor level, the first and foremost important thing is that the job card will be printed. The job card will be released. That means to say, and who all have to be responsible for this. Once you have a particular function in the in your institution, and some of your friends will be taking some one-on-one responsibility, being on the stage and executing the function and looking at the crowd, okay, serving the crowd. Like that, with the available resources of the laborers and the materials and the machineries, we are going to release the card. Who all will be responsible to execute this plan? That is called the job card. Okay, once after that, the authorities will be moving the material. Okay, and the person who are going to be responsible, they'll be taking the position, and the part list will be released. Okay, this is the order list. And order scheduling, in the other way, the scheduling is indirectly connected with the shop floor control. Okay, shop floor, we are going to control them. And what is this? The order scheduling? Order scheduling is the job sequence and machine loading. Okay, what are the sequence of operations to be done on which machine? This will be the order scheduling. And we are going to schedule the list whatever we have got. And then order progress. Order progress is in the one, and the in process, work in process. And this will be giving you the details about each and every workstations. At these workstations, the progress of the work and how many raw materials have been executed and finished, and how many cycles are variations. Okay, order progress. Again, I told you the order progress will be taken from again back to the order control. You can see that the priority control. If there are any variations, initially the A workstation required 8 work cycles, and B workstation required 12 cycles, and there will be small variation physically. Again, this will be reset once again by taking the priority control. Okay, in the priority control, again the headache of having in between the buffer storage in it, and the stockage, and the flow of the material, and the conveyor distance, conveyor movement, all this will be decided. And another one thing, you also not asked me, I also not told you, is the program, the whole industry or the workstation along with the work conveyors and the appenders, downenders, work holding devices, jigs, pictures, all these will be automated by means of a program called a simple programmable logical controller. That will decide it, we will discuss in the next coming days. And in the shop floor, the shop floor language, it is a person is working with, he can able to do all these activities and he can understand, and before he executes the plan, he will be just look into what are the changes to be done in the programmable logical controllers ladder logic diagram. Okay, this is what. Okay, and this completes the second portion or second chapter. And once again, if it is required, just try to go through from the beginning, the process planning. And what is this process planning? And in this process planning, this is the manual method and how the choice will be done. Okay, we are going to detail study the drawing, and we are going to study about what are the sequences and processes are involved. And if it is so, the basic knowledge about the equipment and materials, man requirement, all this, because the process planning engineer should have integrated understanding between the production, the floor shop, from the inventory shop, and from the production engineers, and the planning engineers should have connectivity with the design engineers and the manufacturing engineers, all this. Okay, then he should have slight about idea about what kind of tools and the dies and molds are required, and pictures are required, and different type of measuring devices are required. If these are available, place the order, or if the small changes can be done within the available setup only, he can do it. And in total, he has to understand or analyze the method, how the route should have to be followed. Okay, and setting the work standards. And work standards in the sense where all critically we have to do measurings in order to control the quality. Working cycles and